Hello everybody and welcome to the Charlotte ROVAL here on iRacing. We have something a little bit different today. I am doing this in post. I did this race, decided to record it, but I wanted to try doing the recording in post just to see how it would go, what it would look like, just trying some new things out. Also, this is a 2-for-1 special. We have 2 races in this video. You'll see why later.
Okay, get ready.
But here we go, coming towards the green. A lot of Ferraris in this lobby. You can see that number 7 car, particularly having some issues when it comes to his internet. It's going to be an issue throughout the race, but luckily we won't have to deal with it too much as we take the green flag. A little bit of a slow start as we start in the chicane as we head towards turn 1, the Tums heartburn turn, or at least as it's still called in iRacing. Getting clear of the Mercedes, getting to the inside of that Ferrari. We do get a 0x from that because it was his internet, I guess, that quote-unquote hit us as we look to the inside of this Barbie Ferrari. Not going to be able to get the position this time, but up to P6 already off the line. Now in qualifying, times across the table relatively similar. But with it being the fixed GT3 series, there were just so many people that enter these, with the splits. You're going to get those couple people at both the high and low ends that should maybe be where they are. In fact, actually, being car 19, we are the lowest rated car in this, so we are expected to finish last. So getting past 2 cars already, the Ferraris, including that Barbie Ferrari as we head into the chicane, so doing much better than the game expecting us to already. So heading turn 3 and 4 on the oval. Now looking to P4 up ahead. A bit of a gap here, just a couple of seconds as we downshift to 3rd through the chicane. So we're going to have to work on getting our way up there. We might be dragging these guys ahead as the Barbie car looks towards the inside heading into turn 1. But we're going to cut them off there and hold on to the position. And let's see if we can work with these guys, maybe drag them up towards the guys up front. Is it the top 4 trying to slip away? But we've actually already slightly started to eat into that advantage as this Audi, I don't think I mentioned it, I'm driving the Audi R8, the new one, and it just seems to really carve through that infield section as we move now ahead to lap 4. Hearing an incident in turn 4, I believe that's going to be a lap car. There is going to be some lapped cars in this race. However, if it's going to be because of incidents, this race, with its time limit, only going to be about 15 laps. So we wouldn't really get into any traffic otherwise. But you may have noticed we're really just letting the car kind of glide through this infield section, not really using the throttle or even the brake, just kind of letting it slide. And the Audi R8 just seems to have so much grip through this infield section. We're able to make up so much time. You see how we completely ate into that gap of the Porsche in front of us. Just absolutely incredible, this car through the infield. It just seems to really roll through those corners very nicely. And then moving another lap ahead, you can see here that Porsche slightly running a little wide there through the right-hander. We're going to get right on him, and we get through this corner so well. We're able to put the power down, it seems like, so much earlier than everybody else. That's going to allow us to get to the inside of this Porsche. He's going to be on the outside of us as we head through the banked oval, heading towards the chicane. That's going to be a single file section, so we really want to get clear of that Porsche, which we do. Not sure if he backed out of it or what. He must have, with how quick we got past him in the flat-out corners. But that does move us up into P4 for now. And looking ahead, we've got about a 3-second gap to P3. So once again, maybe we can work with these guys, use each other's pace to push ourselves up towards the top 3. It looks like it's going to be the top 2 to battle with as the leader starts to get away, and we do start to see some lap traffic approaching. As we're told, we're doing a brilliant job by the engineer. Now, coming through here, you can see again, just letting the car coast through that right-hander, because in practice I noticed that if you put the power down through that section, or even the brakes, that this Audi just wants to slide. You can see right here, nearly clipping that wall, so just running a bit wide and getting a 1x there, just slightly off track. However, behind us there was an incident with that number 7 Ferrari and the Porsche. You can see the Ferrari going down the inside, has it, but then the Porsche makes contact with the left rear, sending the Ferrari around. And like I said, he may have internet issues, but we wouldn't have to deal with him for too long as he got turned by the Porsche there. Really weird how it seemed like such minor contact. Not sure if it had something to do maybe with his weird internet connection. But regardless, we have now left that guy in 5th place, that Porsche, as we start to catch up to the guys ahead. We also have this lap car. Now, the lap before, he let those 2 guys in front pass simply because they were right on their tail, but the car misses the... Whoa! And we just get past there as he missed the braking point for that final chicane and spins out over the blue curb. Lost a couple tenths there to the car in front, but no harm, no foul for us. But it was definitely a moment where my life flashed before my eyes because our race very well could have been over at that point. Now jumping ahead a little bit here, a couple more laps to lap 11, you can see we have been working to catch to P3. P2 continued to pull away, but we were able to catch this 3rd place car here. Yet another Ferrari. The Ferrari definitely seeming like the car of choice lately. So we'll let the car glide through here on the infield section. Really seems to have an advantage in the infield over the Ferraris. So we head back onto the oval, going to get underneath this kind of McLaren liveried Ferrari. I have been noticing that a lot of these Ferraris liveried to kind of look like a McLaren, but just like that, up into P3 already for a car that's supposed to be dead last according to our iRating, putting us at car number 19, but P3 on the podium now, and P2 and P1 kind of far ahead, and we're only going to get about 15-16 laps here, so really just kind of try to hold on to P3 here. But unfortunately, as it turns out, I would not do that. Remember how I said earlier that if you over-rev the car or apply the brakes too much, this car really wants to slide out from under you and turn. Well, I did that just here. I shifted down to 3rd gear a little too quickly. You can see that blue light for our traction breaking loose, and around we go. Luckily, there was an 8-second gap to the guys behind us, so we had plenty of time to safely rejoin. I do just touch the wall right there and allow the Porsche and one other car to go past. This guy right here, not going to be able to get past us. He has to slow up for us. Gets along to our left side. A little bit of contact there, but through we are and down to P6. And at this point, when I was in this race, I don't think I had ever been so angry at myself because we essentially had P3, maybe P4 at the worst, locked up, but I just made a bad decision. We lost our traction.
2 minutes left. 2 minutes.
And as you heard from the engineer, only 2 minutes left in this race. We fall all the way back to P6. And sadly, and again, maybe because I had that little bit of damage, but also just because the tires were gone, those guys would get ahead, and we had to fight for P6 on the final lap with another Ferrari. So many Ferraris in this race, as it's a purple and yellow, the number 2, so the guy who should be finishing 2nd in this race, as we're on lap 16. So yeah, 15-16 laps, roughly what you're going to get. But we need to hold off this guy. Really only this chance to make a run at us into the bus stop. Not going to happen. We get right on the apex. Takes a little bit of a look to the right side, but we get a better run out of that chicane as we head back through the oval section. Fireworks going off, so the leader has crossed the line. So after this race, I was really upset with myself. I knew we had more. I knew we had a podium car, and I threw it away myself. It was my own mistake. So after this race, took a little bit of a break, stepped back, went, got some dinner, and decided to do another race because I wanted my shot at redemption. So yeah, heading into race 2, we are still in the Audi R8. We are going to be alongside a Porsche, a Mercedes, another Ferrari with a Ferrari behind us. So a well-rounded group of the GT3 cars here at the start. We're in P4, green flag as we are in the chicane. Luckily, we're with the leader, and we get a much better start than the guy in third. And we're going to be up to third already as we head into turn 1. Now, one thing to note, with this race specifically, the entire field was very close in terms of pace, with the exception of the leader. So from about 2nd to about 5th, there was a 10th, maybe, separating all of us in qualifying. However, that Porsche that qualified on pole was about a 2nd faster than everybody else, so he must have been right on that cusp of being able to go into the next split for this race, because he was just so much faster in qualifying, and it's going to happen in this race too. I'm not even going to try to pretend that we won this race. We don't, because that Porsche, it was just so unbelievably fast. And it kind of made it so that this Mercedes, myself and the guys behind us, we all just kept trying to push just to keep him within distance, just to see if he did make a mistake. So, you know, that was maybe going to be our only shot at winning this, but it became apparent pretty quickly that it was going to be a race for second, and the Mercedes got a much better run through the oval part of this track, got a little bit of a gap on us, but as we start lap 2, we're going to get right back on him, and we're just going to follow for now. Again, let's use the pace of the guys around us to see if we can just keep this Porsche in front of us. You know, it being a 17-20 minute race or whatever it is, you know, just trying to see if the leader would make a mistake early on. Unfortunately, it never did come for us. Moving ahead all the way to lap 6, because again, just sticking with everyone here, we're going to stay behind the Mercedes. He got a much better run through the corner there, as I was personally starting to feel the pressure of the guys behind us. They were starting to pick up the pace a little, which then made me pick up the pace, which then made the Mercedes in front of me pick up the pace. So trying to keep up with the Mercedes while still pushing to keep the guys behind us at that distance. And again, what I had mentioned towards the end of that last race, with the tires possibly playing a factor, that was still in my mind, so I was trying to take it relatively easy here while still applying pressure. But we apply enough pressure here that the Mercedes in front of us misses the braking spot completely, runs over the blue curb, and slows up, and we get right on top of him. It did allow the Ferrari behind us to get to us. However, we are all over the back of this Mercedes now, and we're just going to take a little look. I had no intention of passing here, but the Mercedes brakes so much earlier that it allows us and the Ferrari to get past, but not for long, as the Ferrari goes for a spin. I guess the Ferrari decided to try to follow me through, and it just didn't work. That's not really a corner you can run side by side in, but unfortunately for the Ferrari, he came out of it the worst of it, and you can see already just on lap 7 how far ahead that leader is. But now there's only going to be a couple of us battling for second and third here, which is nice that we got rid of one car, I guess. And it's just a shame that that's 2 races in a row where the guys around me are making contact and sending each other flying. Now later into this race, as you can see, we're coming to the white flag. There was literally nothing else that happened in this race around me. You can see there's now a gap behind me of around 2 seconds. Leader ahead is ahead by 7.5, you know, so 7.5 seconds. And again, at this point, towards the end of the race, the tires are starting to fall off. I'm just trying to maintain the gap. I knew relatively quickly I wasn't going to catch the leader. At this point, it was obvious if he was going to make a mistake, it needed to be a big one for us to have any chance to catch him. So I'm just managing the gap, managing the tires at this point, just trying to keep those guys behind me from getting too close. They started to group up again towards the end of this race, as you can see by the gaps, that they're starting to come together, starting to battle. So as long as we can just keep it on the road, we should be able to come home P2 in this race. And, you know, I'm not sure if it was just this Audi really, meshes with this track really well, because I didn't really see anyone else driving the Audi, or if it's just the fact that I truly love driving the Charlotte ROVAL in whatever car it is. I have always loved driving the ROVAL, but it seemed to work for us. We've had great pace in these 2 races, and I am so happy that we are finally able to come home in P2. The camera shaking is me actually pumping the air, fist pumping, because I was so excited about coming home P2. So, something a little bit different, doing voiceover in post. Let me know if you guys like it. I'm continuing to try some new things, and who knows, maybe we'll do something like this similar, or again, do multiple races in one video. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!